In this video, some guy in a beige Cosworth decides to try and take the front off my car before meeting Barry R. And welcome to Daily Race A at the Watkins Glen short course, where everybody is in the fantastic Sierra Cosworth RS500s. What wasn't so fantastic is the fact that Polyphony had put us all on comfort soft tyres, which as for grip, well, there wasn't any, but at least the car still looked cool. And as we were going retro, I've decided to go with a bit of a retro paint scheme, not my usual colours, and it still looks fantastic. So let's get racing. And as we come down to turn 1, the fact that we're in a one make race gave some really good close racing. The comfort tyres didn't like the close racing so much. As you can see there, somebody's already taken a little excursion off the track. This race meant that you had to be very gentle on the inputs, on the steering and on the throttle, because these tyres did not like being pushed. And talking of being pushed, GT George, 2 cars behind me, yep, the guy from the clip at the start of the video, he was pushing just about everything, but so was Skrillex behind me in the black Sierra. Now he wanted to get past and he was pushing, but he was being fair. Not so fair now is if you watch George behind me, who throws one up the inside and then tries again, and unfortunately takes out Skrillex through no fault of his own, and then, well, he just drives off. And if we skip ahead towards the end of the lap, I'm pushing hard to try and keep George behind me. Now he makes a little mistake and I go wide, but thankfully I keep 2 tyres on the curb so I don't pick up a penalty. And as we go around the last corner onto the start finish straight, I managed to move up at least 2 places into 8th, but I've still got George behind me, and that's not really where I want him. As we jump ahead to the chicane, keep an eye on the 2 guys behind me. You can see that Turbo Toys in the black Sierra is really doing his best to try and get past George, and despite a little mistake there, he manages to put off a great move, keeps traction, and he gets him around the sweeping right-hander. I mean, that's a good move, and he takes George even before George even has to take his penalty, and that gives us both a little bit of breathing room as we come up towards the final bits of lap 2. And now it starts getting interesting, because Turbo Toys has obviously got the bit between his teeth. Not only did he overtake George, but he's fancying a go at me. Okay, fair play to him. As we go around the final bend, he gets a little bit sideways, but he manages to keep his speed. And as we go down the start-finish straight, we are neck and neck. I mean, it is a drag race all the way down. But as we come up to turn 1, he's got the inside line. There's nothing I can do. He takes it fairly, and he gets ahead of me. Now, nobody likes losing a place, but when somebody puts on a move like that, you got to take your hat off to them. Well done, Turbo. Well done, mate. But now it's time to get that place back, and thankfully we're coming up to my favourite part of the short circuit, the long straight into the chicane, and I've managed to take the chicane quite well my last 2 laps, so I'm thinking this is where I'm going to make my move. Now I'm close enough to Turbo, we're getting a little bit of slipstream, and I'm coming up, take the first curb very nicely, second curb I take too much curb, it pushes me wide. I then go across the grass, which gives me dirty tyres, and I have to loose off as well because I don't want to take myself and Turbo out. And on top of that, I get a penalty, but that was my own fault. And as we cross the line for the last lap, I'm in a bit of a no man's land. I'm quite a way behind Turbo, but I'm pushing quite hard. In fact, so hard, I go completely off the track, and yet I don't pick up a penalty for that. Now, okay, I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. At this point, I'll take any bit of good news I can get. Unfortunately, good news doesn't last long when I realise I've got George behind me, and we're coming up to the long straight and the chicane. Well, we've already seen what George was in the chicane, so I don't really want him there, but he's close to me, close enough to get a bit of a slipstream, and as we come up here, I'm imagining he's going to throw one up the inside or do something silly. Now, I take the chicane quite well, George thankfully doesn't, and that gives me a little bit of breathing room, but I've still got that penalty to take. Now, despite the fact I've got a few cars lengths ahead of him, that penalty is going to scrub all my speed off, and George is going to catch up right behind me. And now it pretty much plays out as I expected. I cross the penalty line, I'm forced to slow down, and George has a lot more speed. Now I think he's going to go past me, but for some reason he decides to try and push me sideways and ends up taking himself out. Now if we watch that again, you can see I'm having to slow down. George has got the speed and he's got every possibility to get past me, but there he just decides to turn into me. Now I don't know if he was trying to push me off the track, but didn't end up very well for him, and well, that lets me just drive off into the distance. And with the final corner out of the way, all that was left to do is head down the start finish straight, cross that line and take the checkered flag. Now okay, 9th wasn't my best result, but it was a damn good race. For more great videos like this one, follow this link. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.